It's 2 a.m. in Munich. No cars, no people. Just me and a red traffic light. And still, no one crosses. In the US, this would be the perfect moment to sprint across the street and feel like you just beat the system. But here in Germany, people will wait patiently until it turns green, even if it takes forever. And that tiny moment says a lot about something much bigger. Germans treat rules almost like social glue, while Americans treat rules more like suggestions. I've lived in both countries and I've seen it play out again and again, whether at work, on the road, or even at the grocery store. So today, let's unpack why Germans tend to obey and Americans tend to push back. There are deep historical, psychological, and even philosophical reasons behind it. But first, have you ever found yourself following a rule that no one else seemed to care about? Let me know in the comments. Let's dive in. First, it starts with how the law itself was born. Germany is built on a civil law system, a giant codex of written rules designed to cover every possible situation. If there's a problem, there's probably a paragraph for it. You can really see it in daily life. Parking signs so specific they look like math equations, or every step of a process spelled out in the small print. Even movie ratings or playground signage, there's a sense of plan for every possibility. The US, on the other hand, runs on common law, where judges rely on precedent and interpretation. The system itself encourages you to debate, challenge, or creatively bend a rule if you think there's a good reason. So while a German might ask, what does the rule say? An American might ask, who made the rule and can we change it? Two legal philosophies, two completely different instincts. There's a famous German saying, Ordnung muss sein. There must be order. It's not just a phrase, it's a lifestyle. From recycling bins to quiet hours to separated lanes at the supermarket, there's a rule, an expectation, or a little sign for everything. And following those rules isn't seen as obedience, it's seen as respect. Respect for neighbors, for the system, and shared spaces. Even kids grow up hearing that order creates fairness. In fact, if you've ever learned in a German apartment building, you know there's a weekly cleaning rota, a certain day for recycling, and heaven help you if you mess it up. So when a German waits at a red light, it's not because they're afraid of the police, it's because breaking that rule would feel antisocial, almost rude. Like saying, I'm more important than everyone else. And that's something German culture generally tries to avoid. Have you seen Germans waiting at crosswalks with no cars for miles? Or had your own rules moment? Share your experiences in the chat, I'd love to hear your take. Let's talk about bureaucracy, a word that most people hate, but Germany kind of owns. In fact, Max Weber, one of Germany's most famous sociologists, even called bureaucracy the foundation of modern civilization. A rational system where everyone plays by the same clear rules. Think about it. Predictability is power. And if you know what to expect, you can plan your life. It's everywhere. Want an apartment? Prepare a checklist. Need a birth certificate? Don't forget 2 pieces of ID, a calendar appointment, and sometimes exact change. Frustrating, yes, but it works more than you think. So while Americans often say, just get it done, Germans say, do it right. Even if it takes 3 forms, 2 stamps, and a coffee break in between. But behind all of that paperwork is a belief. Rules make life fairer, not slower. And that, in itself, can be kind of a freedom. Have you ever gotten lost in German paperwork? Or actually found it helpful in the end? Let me know. Now let's get psychological. Cross-cultural research shows that Germans score high in uncertainty avoidance. That means they prefer clear instructions, dislike surprises, and appreciate detailed planning. Americans score much lower, with comfort, with improvisation, risk, and trial and error. You can see it in business, parenting, and even driving. It's almost cliche. If a machine breaks in Germany, this instinct is stop, check the manual. In the US, try something, maybe it'll work. The difference isn't just style, it's deeply cultural. Neither approach is right or wrong, but it helps explain why German culture leans on structure, while American culture leads on freedom. In Germany, safety equals security. In the US, risk equals opportunity. Which approach feels more natural to you? Type order or type adventure in the comments. You can also see this different inside companies. In Germany, most workplaces have Betriebsräte, work councils, where employees are literally part of the rulemaking. It's called Mitbestimmung or co-determination. People follow the rules because they help design them. In the US, the workplace tends to value independence. You show initiative by breaking a rule to get the results. Think, move fast, and break things. So in Germany, you get respect by following the process. In the US, you get promoted by finding a shortcut. One culture says, let's agree, then act. The other says, let's act, then apologize. Which one matches your experience at work? Right, team process or team shortcut below? Now here's where we get really deep. History and national identity. America's entire story is built around breaking rules. Think the Boston Tea Party, the Revolution, the Civil Rights Movement, Silicon Valley, all stories of people saying no thanks to authority. Rule breaking is patriotic, it's innovation, it's what made America America. Germany's story, especially after the 20th century, went the opposite way. After the trauma of dictatorship and war, lawfulness became moral anchor. Obeying rules wasn't about submission, it was about preventing chaos and ensuring that power would never again go unchecked. So when Germans say the rules matter, it's often from a place of collective responsibility. When Americans say rules are made to be broken, it's about individual freedom. Different histories, different lessons. Have you noticed how national stories still shape daily habits? Where do you see it most in your culture? Here's another piece of the puzzle. Trust. Surveys show only 1 in 5 Americans trust the federal government. In Germany, it's roughly twice as high, even higher for local institutions. When you trust your institutions, following rules feels like contributing to something bigger. When you don't, following rules can feel naive, even foolish. It's not just about personality, it's about faith in the system, and faith changes behavior. Both cultures care about fairness and justice, they just express it in opposite ways. In Germany, rules keep society fair. In the US, breaking rules can keep society free. Having lived in both, I get it. Sometimes order feels liberating, like knowing trains will run on time, or that the rules protect everyone. And sometimes it's a little rebellion that's necessary, because change only happens when someone is willing to challenge the system. Maybe the sweet spot is somewhere in the middle, enough rules to build trust, enough freedom to stay creative. So which side are you on? Comment with your country and one rule that you love and one that drives you crazy. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and check out my other takes on German and American culture. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, in Germany, rules are rules. In America, rules are negotiable.